welcome in Karthik Jhaveri, Director Transcend Consulting India Private Limited, who is joining us to take all your questions. Karthik, thanks very much for making the time. Okay, Tejasvi Tiwari on the phone line. Tejasvi, hi, go ahead. How can we help you?
Manisha.
Hi.
Actually, I had two questions. I have taken a physical possession of my flat in 2011. The builder was not giving possession letter that time, and when he was actually giving, I was out of the country. And on returning in 2013, the builder is not agreeing to give the possession letter without the payment of VAT, that is 5%. So the question actually is this, that I did my property registration in November 2009. So should I pay the VAT, as I am not sure if it has been legally mandatory? I came to know that this matter was in court earlier.
Fair enough.
And the second question was this, that how important is the possession letter? Bank says it does not need this to get the property document on loan completion. So will not having the possession letter create any problem for me in the near future?
Okay, this is, well, a little complicated. So she got her property registered in 2009, though physical possession was taken in 2011, while the ruling on VAT came in 2010. But if I remember correctly, Karthik, the ruling applied retrospectively as well. So what do you think? Does Tejasvi have to pay the value-added tax?
Well, technically speaking, the answer is yes in a short thing, but there's a little more to that. The ruling came in, yes, you're right, retrospectively from 2006 to 2010, we had to pay about 5%. Then the provision in that was that whatever was the proportionate cost of the land allocated to your flat and the cost of construction could be deducted from your agreement value, and on the balance you had to pay the 5%, subject to a ceiling of 2.5%, so it couldn't exceed 2.5%. So that was a little complicated, that was a little convoluted, but typically VAT as an indirect tax is applied as the property is sold and at the point of time of registration. So even if you picked up the possession later on in 2011, now what would have happened here, I'm speculating, is that the builder would have gone and paid VAT on your behalf. He would have deposited that with the government. Now he is stopping your possession letter obviously because he's demanding that from you. So there are two ways in my opinion which you can do. One, principally speaking, you have a physical possession, which is in my mind, one of the strongest points for you. Your bank also does not have any problem with it, but it is nice to have your possession letter. So either you can simply pay him the 2.5%, whatever his demand is, and close this chapter depending on what that 2.5% quantifies into in amount terms, or you could actually make a probe. It's a long drawn paperwork. You could write a letter to him, to the builder, and ask him exactly what's the proportionate cost of the land when I purchased, what was the cost of construction then, debit that from my total agreement value, and on the difference I'm going to work out and pay the 5%. So that's the other choice that we have. So which way to follow depends on the total consideration that you have paid and whatever your property is worth and what the worth was at that point of time, and how much does this 2.5% cause damage into your pocket. But it's an indirect tax, and the basic answer is yes. Luckily from 2010, for the benefit of other viewers, VAT has been uniformly deduced to be 1%. So anybody who buys a new property has to straight away pay that 1%, and that pretty much simplifies a lot of things for the prospective buyers going forward.
I know. It is so much easier. I remember that time the case was so complicated. Every buyer was facing this challenge in terms of the demand notes coming from developers. Alright, I'm going to also just direct your attention to the second question that Tejasvi had, Karthik, where she said that is a possession letter important? Of course, the bank doesn't need it to process her papers, but what do you think? Should she really get it right now to be on the safe side?
I would think so, get it, to be on the safe side. See, technically the bank doesn't require it. The bank is more concerned whether you have an agreement in place, whether that agreement is registered, you paid the proper stamp duty, and therefore they are in a position to finance your loan, and therefore the title is clear. As far as they are concerned, that's all they are interested in. Now, possession letter could be like a letter which is a formality, it's a completion of sale. Not everybody even issues it. But, if a builder has a formality or has a method of issuing this thing as a part of his usual process, I would think get it, because for whatever it is worth in future, you don't want any sort of a legal issue happening that, you've taken possession, but you don't really have a letter or your signature is not there. Chances are very, very remote. But, indirect tax is something that you have to live with, and possession letter is something that it's nice to have it in your specific case because there exists a possession letter.
Absolutely, and she's already taken physical possession. So Tejasvi, here's your answer. VAT, yes, you have to pay. Either you go ahead and pay the 2.5% or just go through some calculations with tax experts and then arrive at your exact value.